Hey y'all, welcome back. Taylor Kai here. It's going to be another video of me cooking some turkey wings while I vent. Now, I know last video you probably saw me and my son in the hospital. He was sick and I ended up taking him to Children's. What you doing, kiddo? You okay? Your throat hurt? I can say, we're 2 weeks from the hospital and he is doing so much better. He's not coughing anymore, no more runny nose. He hasn't needed his pump or anything like that, which is good. Also, at that time, I want to say they basically confirmed that he has asthma. So he ended up leaving with, 2 asthma pumps, Flovit and albuterol with a spacer. Um, so yeah, I haven't needed to use any of that in about, I want to say like a week or so. Now, I know I talked a little bit about my mom at the end of that video. The day that we took Kai home, my boyfriend actually had to go into the ER. And now he has some issues that we have to take care of. That was, when did we the day before yesterday. Now, today, as I was running errands, I kept getting the missed call from my mom. So when I finally got in the house, I called her. She says she's in the hospital and her blood pressure is 200. And the doctors told her that that is a silent killer. I want to talk about something. I don't know if it was last month or the month before, I had a dream. And in that dream, it's like I kept hearing a voice saying, it's Capricorn season, it's Capricorn season, it's Capricorn season. And then all of a sudden, this is still a dream, all of a sudden I get a text. And it was from my aunt. And it said, Taylor, it's important, it's about your mom. Give me a call. And as soon as I read that in the dream, I already knew what it was about. Like I could feel the sadness in my dream. I only told a couple people about this dream. I could probably maybe attach some text messages that I sent to a couple people about it. Excuse me, I know I look a mess, but how I look on the outside is how I feel on the inside. I remember, I know I talked a little bit about the issues I have with my brother. Mind you, my mom lives in California and so does my brother. She says she's in the hospital by herself. And my brother just dropped her off. So, what am I to do? I don't know where to begin. I'm all the way in Georgia. I planned on coming to LA the 2nd of June. I may have to make it sooner. And that was me just talking about how her blood pressure rose really, really high. The update on that is there was some medication she was taking for her blood pressure, ironically, right? That ended up making her blood pressure being too high. So she's back at home resting. She's doing way better than what she was doing before. Obviously, she's still sick. I don't know if I've actually discussed all of the illnesses that she has, but maybe we'll talk about that another day. And I will be visiting her very soon in California. I'll be out there in about a week and a half or so. Now, back to this. Well, we're still in the middle of this update, but yeah, I'm getting distracted. I want to say maybe Kai got released from the hospital May 7th, I believe. And his father, and we're still together, his father was in and out of the hospital with us. Obviously, he had to work, but he ended up getting really sick. And we thought that, oh no, like, okay, Kai must have gotten him sick. Mind you, Kai did not get like a full diagnosis. They just said like it had to be something viral. They didn't have a name for it, what the viral infection was. He ended up just taking antibiotics. They had him on the asthma medication. He was wheezing a lot. And he had a fever. He had a cough. He wasn't throwing up or anything. I do believe his throat was hurting. He can't communicate that too well. He's only 2, but I would ask him if he had an owie, and he would nod his head yes, and he would point to his neck. So I assumed that he was saying that his throat hurt as well. He wasn't eating at all either. That was one of the reasons that kept us there in the hospital. We got there on the 3rd. We left on the 7th. So one of the reasons that they also kept us was for dehydration. We could not get him to eat or drink anything. And then come to find out, his tonsils were extremely swollen and red, and they wouldn't let him leave unless he was able to start eating, obviously. So they had him hooked up to IVs to keep him hydrated and things like that. Now, his dad, when he would come after work, he kept complaining that his stomach was hurting. We couldn't figure out like what it was. Now, mind you, my stomach was hurting a little bit too, and I chopped it up to, it was just the hospital food tearing me up. It just wasn't good. I didn't like it. And a part of me feels like the reason Kai wasn't eating like that is because the food wasn't the best. Hospital food don't got no flavor or whatever. So that was a little something, but that's neither here nor there. Well, his dad had a doctor's appointment to get some things checked out. And when he went and got something, I don't want to put all his personal business out there, but when he went to go get some things checked out, it didn't look too good. Now, mind you, when he went there, he was still having a lot of abdominal pain and things like that. So we're waiting and waiting and waiting for the doctor's office to call us back with results. And mind you, let me just say, it's been a mess. Oh, but previous to this, I told him he needed to go to the emergency room because he was just like curled up in the bed. He couldn't walk. He couldn't move. Like, yes, it was that bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. So he went to the emergency room first. He wasn't feeling good. They couldn't figure out what was going on. They ended up just giving him pain meds, and they told him to go see like a GI doctor. So I want to say maybe like a few days later, he gets an appointment with the GI doctor, and that's when the doctor wanted to run tests. Now, boom, we get to Monday, and it's time for him to take the test, like a specific test. Well, that didn't turn out so well. They did like some scans, and they found things, and one of the things that they started to mention, or they kept bringing up, was the C word. And, nobody wants to hear that. If you know, you know. I don't know. I just don't like to speak that word into existence. We're waiting on the results, right? Mind you, they didn't send him home with anything. They just said, take some Tylenol for pain. Now, the type of pain he was in, it was just uncontrollable. He just couldn't it just wasn't enough. Tylenol was crazy for him, but there was nothing else that he can do. He could barely eat. Now, mind you, during this situation, he's dropping weight like crazy, and we could not figure out what the heck was going on. He's off. He was off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday, he called his doctor's office to see if he can get some more pain medication. They told him, okay, let me call the doctor and let me see if we can get a prescription for you. Okay, boom. 5 o'clock come, no call, doctor's office is closed. I'm like, yo, maybe, okay, tomorrow morning when you get up, you need to give them another call. He calls them again. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, can I get I really need some pain medicine. I'm in a lot of pain. Like, okay, I will, refer or tell the doctor to give you a call. Same situation, no call. Crazy, right? So now let me see. No, Wednesday night comes around and the doctor finally calls, was like, hey, I see you've been calling. How's your pain level? Blah, blah. He's telling him the type of pain he's in. He's like, okay, I'm going to, write out a prescription and then you can go into the office tomorrow morning and go and pick it up. Now in his head, he's like, cool. But at the same time, he's like, dang, like it took y'all a minute to respond just for me to get some medicine. Mind you, that same day, earlier that day, he damn near had to like really reinforce how much pain he was in. He hasn't left the bed since Monday and that the Tylenol wasn't working. And, he had to really put his foot down on whoever it was that was answering the phone at that office. Now, let's not forget, I forgot to tell you that before he had his procedure, they wanted $1,600 just for them to give him a scan, which is crazy. And that's only half of the payment. I think the whole fee was like 3,000 and some change. Once he told me that the doctor said that he'll write the prescription, I questioned it and was just like, well, why wouldn't he just send it to the pharmacist? And he responded by saying, I'm not sure. I guess he was forced to pick it up. And I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, that's crazy. They know how much pain he's in. Why would they have you running around like this? That's insane. So tell me why he gets to the doctor's office, he picks up the prescription and he takes it over to the pharmacist. Once he gets there to the pharmacy, they're like, they don't have it. So he calls me up and he was like, can we find out what to do, whatever. And I'm just telling him, you need to just run it to a different pharmacist. So he takes it over to another pharmacy. Why? When he handed the paper over to him or to them, they were like, this is illegal. This prescription isn't even on the right type of paper. Did you write this yourself? When I tell you he was so embarrassed and he looked at them crazy, like, what do you mean? Like, I literally just walked out of my doctor's office and this is what they gave me. This lady, whoever was at the office, just took it off of the computer. I guess she or the doctor may have faxed over the prescription, I guess. And she just printed it out on a regular piece of white paper. Mind you, these are heavy pain meds. Why would she just print it out on a white piece of paper? And him not knowing, not even paying attention to the paper because he's in so much pain. He's just thinking like, okay, cool. I'm finna just run this to the store. So now he's just looking crazy at the pharmacist. The lady hands it back to him and he walks out looking stuck on stupid. I'm going to have to give y'all a part 2. That is it for this video. Stay tuned for the next Cooking with Me venting. And I'm going to let y'all know what they said at the doctor's office once he called them.